Welcome, my friends, to the most terrifying place in the world. Tonight we go to Africa, to a land of incredible cultures, stunning landscapes, and terrible, terrible nightmares. I am your host. We have been exploring the darkest myths and scary legends of our world for almost 10 years now, and in that time there has always been one question. Have you ever wondered what lurks beneath the surface? But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's start with our first terrifying tale. Legend number 1, the cannibal dwarves of the Congo. Africa is home to some of the most beautiful animals on Earth. From the mighty elephant to the colorful chameleon, it's a wildlife paradise. But hidden deep in the jungle is an even more exotic creature, a race of cannibal dwarves known as the Eloko. In the dense jungles of the Congo rainforest lives a mysterious tribe of dwarves known as the Eloko. These enigmatic beings are shrouded in mystery and are said to be extremely elusive, rarely making contact with humans. The Eloko are believed to stand between 3 and 4 feet tall, with bodies covered in thick black hair. They are said to live in small groups and are skilled hunters, using bows and arrows to catch their prey. But perhaps the most disturbing aspect of the Eloko lore is their rumored cannibalistic tendencies. It is said that they engage in ritualistic cannibalism, consuming the flesh of their victims during their ceremonies. This gruesome practice adds a layer of fear and revulsion to their already intimidating reputation. Deep in the jungle, there is an old legend about these cannibals. One day, some explorers found the remains of some people who had visited the area. The remains had clear marks on them, as if the meat had been sliced off while they were still alive. The explorers ran away, and this made the locals think that the Eloko had taken someone else. People told stories of hearing a bell coming from the jungle. Those who went to investigate never returned. Some believe that the bells are actually traps, set by the Eloko to lure unsuspecting victims into their territory. Others believe that the bells are a warning, a signal that the cannibal dwarfs are nearby and hungry for human flesh. But are the cannibal dwarfs real, or just a figment of the locals' imagination? Over the years, there have been several expeditions into the Congo rainforest to try and find evidence of the Eloko, but none have been successful. Some believe that the Eloko are so elusive because they are hiding from humans, while others believe that they are simply masters of disguise, able to blend in with the lush vegetation of the jungle. Whatever the truth may be, the legend of the cannibalistic dwarfs of the Congo continues to captivate and terrify people around the world. Number 2, the death god of the Akan. The ancient kingdom of Ashanti was a powerful state in present-day Ghana from the 17th to 19th century. It was known for its wealth, military strength, and vibrant culture. However, like many other kingdoms throughout history, the Ashantis also had their own gods, some benevolent and others, well, not so much. One of the most intriguing and feared deities in their pantheon was Owuo, the god of death. Unlike many other cultures that viewed death as a transition to another realm or a reunion with ancestors, the Ashantis personified death as a malevolent entity that stalked the living, waiting to claim them. Owuo was depicted as a gaunt, emaciated figure with glowing red eyes that burned with an otherworldly fire. He was often shown carrying a sword or bow and arrow, symbolizing his ability to strike quickly and unexpectedly. The mere mention of his name was enough to send shivers down the spines of the bravest warriors. The Ashanti believed that Owo was not bound by the rules that governed other gods, and that he could not be appeased through offerings or sacrifices. Instead, he demanded respect and obedience, and any who dared to defy him ran the risk of his wrath. For example, if someone was ill or a loved one died, it was common to blame Owo and offer him tributes to appease him and prevent further misfortune. The fear of Owo was so pervasive that people would sometimes avoid seeking medical treatment for fear of angering the death god by acknowledging their mortality. They believed that even the greatest warrior or ruler was vulnerable to Owu's touch, and no one could escape his grasp forever. And finally, let's look at number 3, Sasabonsum, the tree vampire of Ashanti. According to legend, Sasabonsum was not an animal, a human or even a demon, but something older and more sinister. It was born from the forest itself, a manifestation of the jungle's raw power and untamed nature. It is said to move with unnatural silence, gliding effortlessly through the treetops, its presence heralded by an eerie stillness that precedes a storm. Its body is adorned with sharp, pointed appendages, and its skin is rough and scaly, like tree bark. Some even claim to have seen eyes gleaming between the branches, watching their every move with cold reptilian eyes. In Ashanti folklore, the Sasabonsum was believed to feed on the life force of humans, leaving them drained and weak in its wake. Victims claimed that after encountering the creature, they suffered from a strange wasting disease, growing thinner and weaker until their very essence was consumed. The Sasabonsum was particularly active during the night, and its presence was said to bring with it an oppressive darkness that blotted out the stars and turned day into night. Those unlucky enough to cross paths with it in the forest claimed that it exuded an unnatural coldness that froze the blood in their veins and stole their breath. So now you know about some of the scariest things in Africa. But I want to hear from you. What is the scariest thing you have ever encountered in Africa, or what do you think might be lurking beneath the surface? Share your thoughts below. Next, we're going to take a journey through the vast and unforgiving landscapes of Africa, where we will explore the haunted histories of abandoned settlements and deserted regions that are rumored to be plagued by evil forces. Number 4, the Wrestler of Death, Garnab versus Tsi-Goab. Legend has it that long ago in the desolate plains of Namibia, there lived a man named Tsi-Goab, whose sole purpose was to defeat the formidable god of death, Garnab. Garnab was a fearsome deity who demanded tribute in the form of human lives, and he delighted in causing pain and misery among the mortals. Tsi-Goab, driven by his unwavering determination and love for his people, embarked on a perilous journey to confront the dreaded god. He wrestled with lions, crossed treacherous rivers, and endured unimaginable hardships, all in his quest to end Garnab's reign of terror. Finally, he stood before the god of death in a battle that shook the very foundations of the universe. The two locked in a fierce struggle, each determined to outmaneuver and overpower the other. As the fight raged on, the stakes grew higher and the intensity of their battle reached a fever pitch. Eventually, Tsi-Goab managed to pin Garnab down and declare himself the winner. But as he basked in his hard-earned victory, Garnab cursed him, granting him immortality and eternal suffering. To this day, travelers in the desolate plains of Namibia report hearing strange winds emanating from the Kuko's tomb. They say that no birds dare nest near it, and a sense of foreboding hangs heavy in the air. Some even claim to have seen the restless spirit of the cursed wrestler wandering the plains, forever tormented by the curse of immortality. Legend number 5, Kamapa, the devourer from the Basotho Hills. The Basotho people of Lesotho have a rich culture filled with traditions and beliefs passed down through generations. Among their folklore are tales of bravery, adventure, and mythical creatures. One such tale tells the story of Kamapa, a monstrous being that terrorized the people living in the mountainous regions of Lesotho. This terrifying creature was said to have no face, no eyes, and no voice, only an insatiable hunger that drove it to devour entire villages in a single night. The people of Lesotho were initially puzzled by the sudden disappearances of their livestock and villagers alike. They struggled to understand the cause of these terrifying events and lived in constant fear of becoming the next victim of the mysterious monster. As the attacks continued, the community grew desperate and turned to their most courageous warrior to help end Kappa's reign of terror. Despite the danger, the warrior accepted the challenge and set out to find the beast. After a long and arduous search, he finally came across Kappa's lair and prepared to face the monster. When the warrior confronted Kappa, he realized the true extent of the creature's power. Kappa was colossal in size and possessed supernatural strength and speed. The warrior fought valiantly, but he was no match for the monster and was quickly overwhelmed. Just as Kappa was about to deliver the final blow, the warrior remembered an ancient prophecy that spoke of a way to defeat the beast. Using the last of his strength, the warrior began reciting the incantation from the prophecy, and as he did so, the ground beneath Kappa began to shake. Suddenly, a chasm opened up and swallowed the creature whole. But the story doesn't end there. Before Kappa disappeared into the depths of the earth, he let out a deafening roar that echoed throughout the land. The noise was so loud and terrifying that it caused the warrior to faint. When he awoke, he learned that Kappa had survived the fall into the abyss. Determined to put an end to the monster once and for all, the warrior descended into the cavern. He fought Kappa a second time, and it was even more brutal than their first encounter. But just when it seemed like Kappa would prevail, the warrior remembered another part of the prophecy. He realized that the only way to truly defeat the beast was to sacrifice himself. With a heavy heart, the warrior charged forward and plunged his sword deep into Kappa's heart. As the monster's life force began to fade, he looked upon the warrior with newfound respect and gratitude. Kappa's body began to shrink, and in a final act of magnanimity, he allowed the warrior to absorb his essence, granting him immense power and wisdom. When the warrior emerged from the cavern, he was transformed. He used his new powers to protect the people of Basutaland from harm and became a legendary hero for defeating Kappa, the devourer from the Basotho Hills. And finally, let's look at number 6, Haitsi Ibib, the warrior buried many times. Namibian culture is a vibrant tapestry of traditions, customs and beliefs passed down through generations of indigenous people. Amongst the various facets of Namibian culture, folklore holds a special place. Tales of bravery, adventure, and the supernatural have been shared for centuries, keeping their rich history alive. One such tale involves Haitsi Ibib, a powerful shape-shifting warrior who is believed to have lived in Namibia many years ago. His story is deeply rooted in the oral traditions of the Herero and Himba people, who tell stories of his courage and strength. According to their legends, Izeb was not only a skilled warrior, but also a master of disguise, able to transform himself into different animals at will. This ability allowed him to outsmart his enemies and protect his people from harm. One particular story tells of how he was killed in battle against a rival tribe, only to rise again from the dead and defeat his enemies. Despite his valiant efforts, he was eventually captured and buried alive in a stone tomb without any markings or indication of his final resting place. However, his spirit was said to be restless, and locals reported hearing strange noises and seeing strange lights emanating from certain stone structures in the area. These sites, now known as Izeb's tombs, are located throughout Namibia, particularly in the central and northern regions of the country. And here's the kicker. People say that he never stays dead, and sometimes his restless spirit emerges from his grave, looking for who knows what. And finally, we have our bonus legend. Number 7, Impundulu, the lightning bird of southern Africa. From the Zulu tribe comes the legend of the Impundulu, a horrifying creature that appears whenever there is a lightning storm. This beast is said to be about the size of a leopard and has the head of a chicken and wings like a giant eagle. Impundulu is feared throughout southern Africa, especially in places like Swaziland, South Africa, and Zimbabwe. Its name comes from the Zulu word for thunder and lightning, and its presence is said to signal impending doom. When the Impundulu flies overhead, it supposedly sucks the life force out of anyone it passes, leaving them weak and disoriented. But it's not just the living it preys on. Impundulu are also said to inhabit the bodies of witches and serve as their familiar, helping them perform their dark rituals and curses. In fact, there's a popular myth that if you see an Impundulu, you should run away immediately and hide in a cave. Otherwise, the bird will swoop down and carry you away to its nest, where its witch mistress will drain you of your life force and turn you into a zombie. Some believe that the Impundulu is nothing more than a figment of people's imagination, a way to explain strange weather phenomena or unfortunate accidents. However, there are those who swear that they have seen these terrifying creatures with their own eyes and have escaped their clutches by the skin of their teeth. For the people of southern Africa, the Impundulu is a terrifying symbol of the power of nature and the dangers of witchcraft. Whether real or imagined, its presence continues to evoke fear and fascination. And now we're going to travel south to the nation of South Africa and explore the chilling legends that surround its most haunted locations. Number 8. Tokoloshe, the demon under the bed. In the dark, dank corners of South Africa's history lies a legend so terrifying that even the bravest souls recoil in fear. The Tokoloshe, a demonic water spirit that preys on unsuspecting victims in the dead of night, is a staple of Zulu folklore. Described as a small, slimy creature with a bulbous head and dripping wet skin, the Tokoloshe is said to slither under the beds of sleeping families, suffocating them with its foul breath. But the horror doesn't end there. As if stealing breath wasn't enough, So if you find yourself in the heart of the Congo, or driving a lonely South African road, and you hear a bell or see her white dress, don't stop. And whatever you do, never look back.